Tim Dillon, the comedian, is catching heat for performing in Saudi Arabia. He is part of a group of, I believe it's 50 different comedians that are performing at the, is it Radaya?
I believe so.
Comedy festival. Tim Dillon defending performing in Saudi Arabia. He's so ridiculous looking. Revealing he's being paid $375,000 for one show. Some comedians that are going to be on the bill earning more than $1 million. Tim Dillon argued that the payout from Saudi Arabia was enough money to look the other way regarding Saudi Arabia's record. Here's a clip from the Tim Dillon podcast where he defends performing in Saudi Arabia.
Now, people might say to me, hey, you're coming out and saying you're doing the Saudi thing for money. They're paying you a lot of money. I'm not going to tell you how much they're paying me. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter how much they're paying me $375,000 for one show. Now, a lot of other people are getting $1.6 million. That's not me. I'm not in that bracket. But they're giving me $375. Others are getting $150. Why are they doing it? Here's the point. Okay? I am doing this because they're paying me a large sum of money. They're paying me enough money to look the other way. Do you understand? Israel gave none of us any money and expected we were all going to just defend them. For what? For no money? For $0? The threat that I won't get a sitcom on ABC Family? I'm supposed to go out and defend this genocide because maybe I won't be on ABC I won't get to play a gym teacher on a network that won't be in business, and I'm supposed to care about that? Who gives a fuck? Where's the money, you bum?
I appreciate him at least being honest about it. Hey, yeah, Saudi Arabia's done some shitty things. Hey, they're paying me a lot of money, and I'm going to look the other way on those things. Do any of you guys have any problem with Tim Dillon being paid $375,000 to perform in Saudi Arabia?
I think he's worth so much more than that. And I mean,
not per show. I can tell you, I'm not talking out of school here. These guys
he's number one, though.
These guys don't normally make $375,000 a show. I can tell you because I have a friend who works in contracts for one of the largest concert promoting companies in the United States of America. When Joe Rogan and Dave Chappelle were going out on tour together, they were doing dual headlining tours. Each one of them were being paid $1 million per show. And then each one of their opening acts got $100,000 per show. That's a lot of money, especially when you're these headliners who, for some shows, you're getting a door deal.
Yeah.
Which means, okay, I get X amount. Let's just say it's $5,000. I get $5,000 versus 80% of the door. Okay, that means that if 80% of the seats are sold, then I get whatever that amount is from the door. So there are door deals where guys are lucky if they'll make 10, 15, 20 grand a show. To make $375,000 on one show. Yeah, you got to fly to Saudi Arabia. It can't be a quick flight, but I'm sure that they're covering the flight. They're covering the accommodations. This is the Saudi government. They have unlimited money.
Yeah.
I have no problem being upfront and open about it, but when I first saw that all of these comedians were performing in a country that funded 9/11, let's not forget that. Let's not forget the Saudi Arabian and the royal family's ties to the 9/11 hijackers, the fact that 15 out of the 19 hijackers were from Saudi Arabia, that the bin Laden family lived in Saudi Arabia prior to bin Laden being kicked out in the mid-90s. The Saudi government is to this day still fighting 9/11 families in court to try and be absolved of guilt from it, and we're 25 years later. If I have a problem with anybody performing, it's not because of the things that the Saudi government is doing to the Saudi people. Such is your luck, I'm sorry. Ladies can't drive, they gotta wear burqas, they're not allowed to vote, whatever the case may be in the Middle East. 2,977 Americans died on September 11th, and more than likely the Saudi government at least funded the operation, if not helped the hijackers. And the fact that you're going to go over and perform for those people, I have a problem.
But Rob, you're going to be mad at Tim Dillon for doing a comedy bit there when our government hasn't said one negative thing about Saudi Arabia in my entire lifetime.
Well, they're both they can both be complicit in evil.
They're our gas station, though. So, let's start with the leadership. If we're going to have a problem with Saudi Arabia, let's let it come from the top. Let's Let's not. I would go there in 2 seconds for a bunch of money too. Same thing with Israel. Like I wouldn't kiss the wall, but I would go there for money too.
And I at least appreciate that you're upfront and honest about that. What I don't appreciate is when people try and hide it. That's why I'm saying I have no problem with what Tim Dillon's doing because he's at least upfront. They're paying me a lot of money. Yeah, they're shitty people. I don't care. I'm going. And Roberto, you lived in the Middle East.
I lived in the Middle East. I mean, there's a few things to unpack here. First of all, I want this level of transparency on every public official. I would love for them to just come out and say this. Hey, by the way, we're gonna put some poison on the kids' formula, but don't worry about it. They're paying us a lot of money, so we're gonna look the other way.
Like, guess what? Buying Raytheon, then they're getting the contracts.
And we're starting a new work of Raytheon. Their stock is going down. Can you imagine like this level?
I would like them more.
I'd be like, okay, I know why they're doing this.
Well, that's what I plan to do when I'm in Congress if it's still legal in insider trade.
So that's the first thing. I mean, and it's pronounced Riyadh.
Riyadh. Okay.
Yes, that's the pronunciation. And I'm surprised, like from when I lived there, being gay was death penalty, like straight up. So they're hiring a gay man to go to Riyadh where being gay is illegal.
And he's openly gay.
Maybe it's a very elaborate ambush. They're just waiting for him to come. Like, oh, we got him.
And but the thing is that like I grew up there 10 years. And they're willing to look the other way with those things.
And he's the one look the other way.
Yeah, and they're both looking the other way.
Yeah.
Like, they better not be driving because someone needs to be looking at the road. It's a wonderful place, Riyadh, like very modern. And they've been doing a lot of work there. And do you know who else they're inviting to the festival? Do you see the other names?
I've seen some of them. Go ahead.
My God.
Isn't Dave
All
Chappelle?
Right. Tom Segura, he's going there. Whitney Cummings. All right. Pete Davidson. Aziz Ansari, whatever.
Aziz Ansari. Yes.
They'll start their own comedy league, like a live golf version of comedy.
Yeah, Jim
Start overpaying
Jeffries.
everybody.
Who else is here? Russell Peters, friend of the show. Gabriel Iglesias is going there as well.
I noticed there's no Jewish comedians on that
Bill
list.
Burr. Let me see.
Do you see a Jerry
No
Seinfeld?
Seinfeld?
No, that is a funny
I can't think of any other Jewish comedians.
This is the list.
Which is weird because according to the internet, they run the Hollywood entertainment industry.
Well, the guy Ari.
Yeah, there's not a single one. That is
Jeremy Piven.
No, Ari Shafir.
Oh, Ari Shafir. Yes. I don't.
Gosh.
Is he on that list?
Ari
Probably not.
Shafir.
I don't think anybody can come out now. Tim Dillon owned it. I appreciate the fact
did.
that he came out. He goes, look, I'm bought and paid for. I don't care what you think about it. They're paying me a butt ton of money. You know how many shows at the Miami Improv you'd have to do to make $350,000,
350,000 shows.
There's no people.
yeah, you have to make a
but Rob,
lot.
there's no people making that kind of money here in the States, right?
No, I mean, when it comes to sports, though, there's nobody paying like Live Golf is paying as well. So you look at it like they have unlimited wealth over there. They can do whatever they want when it comes to
But who'd be like the
entertainment and
top
sports.
comedian doing the top show right now?
Probably Chappelle.
Chappelle, and he doesn't make 300,000 per show.
No, he makes $1 million per show.
Here in the States.
Yes.
All right.
When he's touring.
But
So-
also with anyone who takes an issue with this, and like I said, there's plenty of reason to object to doing stuff with the Saudi government. They are up to their eyeballs in terrible things, although I'm sure most of the people who hate Tim Dillon for this would raise bigger issue about Jamal Khashoggi
I was just
than
about
they
to
would
bring
about
up-
9/11.
I was just about to bring up Jamal Khashoggi. If you don't know who that is, that's the guy that disappeared inside the Turkish embassy. They chopped him up in a suitcase, and then there are literally bodyguards, or I guess at that point, assassins that were filmed wheeling his body out inside of suitcases.
That story has way more to it than just the Saudi government killed a journalist, because the guy's uncle is one of the most like infamous arms traffickers.
Adnan Khashoggi, who,
Yeah.
if you listen to the interview that Daryl Cooper did with Tucker Carlson, where they talk about Jeffrey Epstein, they point out about Adnan Khashoggi's ties to Epstein. And by the way, if you actually really start diving into why they murdered Jamal Khashoggi, there are reports that it was done on film. The backstory to the alleged murder, from my understanding, is that when the Route 91 Harvest shooting happened in Las Vegas, done by Stephen Paddock, a man who had wealth from gambling, was retired, had no motive for the shooting, and it's a mass shooting we no longer talk about yet, despite it being the deadliest mass shooting in the United States. The reports are that at that time, MBS, Mohammed bin Salman, was at the hotel that the shooting occurred at and was involved in some type of arms deal, but they were trying to actually assassinate MBS. And so the rumors are Jamal Khashoggi was killed. The filming of that was, or the killing was filmed, and then the killing was shown to other members of the Saudi royal family by MBS, saying, "Hey, don't fuck around, because this is what happens if you try and kill me again." Whether or not that's true or not, that is the long-standing backstory that I've heard regarding Jamal Khashoggi's death.
He was
Needless to say-
shit-talking him a ton. He was shit-talking MBS a ton.
Yeah, and needless to say, the Saudi government does terrible things. Like we said, Jamal Khashoggi has more nuance to it, but there's the 9/11 connection that we'll get into next week and something special we're working on. But people seem to be taking issue with this because Tim Dillon is an entertainer. Think if he was any other industry, if he was a construction guy who's like, yeah, I took a $375,000 construction gig in Riyadh. Okay,
Okay,
is
good for you.
that nearly as much of an issue? If he sells cell phones, if he makes cars, like, you know, I'm going to work on exotic cars for a Saudi prince. Okay, are you held to the same standard at all? No, it's some weird thing for entertainers who, no, how dare
And athletes, because a lot of the athletes that joined Live Golf also got blowback for joining the group.
Oh, that was a big blowback.
Yeah, and
how dare you provide entertainment for this evil government? You can provide them with infrastructure and luxury goods and commerce, but certainly don't make them laugh or, you know, entertain them by playing sports.
And when it goes to the 9/11 victims, the families of 9/11 victims suing the Saudi government, this happened last month. An August 2025 court ruling marked a pivotal moment in the lawsuit, the first time a federal judge deemed the plaintiff's evidence sufficient to allow a trial, thereby enabling a detailed exploration of the allegations under U.S. law. So, you know, it's almost the anniversary, the 25th anniversary of 9/11 is coming up in next week. And these families are no close. I mean, I guess they're getting a little closer to actually getting justice from the Saudi government, but it took 25 years to get to this point. I'm more interested in the 9/11 files than I am the Epstein files, the Diddy files, the JFK files, the MLK files, the RFK files. That's the one that they need to release. Release the 9/11 files. Does anybody here believe the 9/11 Commission? Anyone at this table?
No.
It's just like the what was
JFK files?
Yeah, well, no, what was the
Warren Commission?
The Warren Commission into JFK's assassination, which had members like Alan Dulles, who was on the board of it, who was also the head of the CIA at the time,
Who got fired?
which was the organization that JFK was trying to disband when he was killed.
And he fired Dulles.
To show how much the goalposts have moved on this, like I remember the first time I was in middle school and heard somebody say the expression "jet fuel can't melt steel beams." I was like, "Huh, that's interesting. I hope this doesn't, you know, shape the trajectory of my career and the rest of my life." And then
here we are.
Yesterday, I spent about 6 hours researching whether any of the planes on 9/11 actually existed or if they might have been holograms.
I'm so excited for this
So
special.
we've certainly gone a little bit off the rails here, but like this is what that subject opens up.
So if you like this clip, click right here. And if you want to see more like it, click right here. Stay angry, Patriots.